All right, mics are hot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This week on the Adobe Video CHiNWAG, co-host Jimmy Harmsworth and I talk to Dan Miall, CEO of BirdDog, about their NDI protocol hardware and software-based solutions. Say goodbye to HDMI, SDI, and the age-old favourite composite cables tying you down, and say g'day to this Australian company's COVID-safe solution that converts your video playout and user interface into a low-latency, high-quality data stream to any connected screen. Share your screen or video playout to the producer, director, or anyone else you'd rather not be breathing their second-hand air. NDI has got the potential. Adobe and BirdDog have got your back. Front and all sides covered. Tune in Thursday night to the Adobe Video CHiNWAG, simulcasting on YouTube and Facebook to learn more and ask any questions about expanding your monitoring experience. Hey, welcome to the Adobe Video CHiNWAG, Thursday nights. I have with me a very special guest, but I've also got with me my right hand, literally right hand man, or left hand. I can't tell now. Is it left or right? Jimmy Harmsworth, how are you, buddy?
How are you, mate? I'm very well, thank you. What's going on?
Oh, you know, stuff. I got proper colours behind me now, so I'm feeling pretty special.
It's going off, yeah.
I know. And Dan Miall from BirdDog. How are you, Dan?
G'day, Dan. I'm doing great, guys. Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you.
Very good to have you on. So I suppose what we try to do is we try to look at what was going on last week, if there's any questions we missed, and then try to respond to them up front. I don't think we had any. Jimmy, did you see any? I don't think we had any.
I didn't see any personally. It was a pretty good week last week. We had great fun, actually. But no, nothing that we should cover.
It was good fun. Now, speaking of good fun, we're going to see how this goes. We're simulcasting for the very first time on both YouTube and on Facebook. So hopefully more people can watch, because someone did say last week they weren't able to really jump onto YouTube because they don't have a YouTube account, because they wanted to chat and they couldn't do that.
So they could jump on Febreze instead. That's great.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Febreze audience.
So, Dan, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit of background? Who are you? This is not a dating show, kind of a dating show.
It kind of sounds a bit like that, yeah. No, cool. So basically, I'm one of the founders of BirdDog, which is a company that makes a bunch of stuff that we'll probably get into in a little bit. But that kind of came about from some previous stuff that I've done. So I've always been in video production with various bits of equipment. I was mentioning to you guys before that I've done 10 years of working with another company, starting with with Avid. So I've got plenty of experience in video production and setting up systems. But along the way, we actually started distributing a bunch of products in Australia. It's a company that I started with a couple of mates called Blonde Robot. And Blonde Robot represent a bunch of different brands. And one of those happened to be a company called NewTek. So NewTek's been around for a little while. They make live production equipment. So they allow you to do things like switching and things in live, like you're doing now, John, with the pictures and pictures and doing live shows. They developed a cool bit of technology while we were representing them, which was called NDI. So NDI is a way of sending audio and video over a computer network. So you don't need to run HDMI cables or SDI. You can take a video output from any computer source or anywhere, and you can send that over your network in real time, nice low latency and really high picture quality. So they announced this about 4 years ago, and me and these couple of mates got together and we're like, you know what? This is a really neat trick to send video from one computer to another, but it needs some hardware. You need to be able to strap it to a camera. You need to be able to put it on a screen. You need to be able to put it in a camera to make this thing work really well. And that was really the impetus for starting up BirdDog. So started up with one company called Blonde Robot, then thought we'll keep with the wacky names and we'll start up the new one with BirdDog. So we started off, our first product was an NDI encoder. So it allowed us to take SDI or HDMI and convert that into this network format that you could then send across regular computer networks. It really helped a lot of live production, anyone from sports, news to schools, education, a whole bunch of people using it for live events have been using this now for a number of years. More recently, we've been building out a couple of workflows around cloud-based production, so being able to transmit video from one place to another with really high quality and really low latency. And then, getting back to my roots really on this editorial side of things with Avid and then Adobe Premiere and things, with NDI, there's some cool plugins you can get to enable this live output from your Adobe timelines. And so with our hardware, we've built out a bunch of workflows for both local but also remote over-the-shoulder editing and being able to interact in real time with people all over the world, all using this network-based technology. So this year's been pretty exciting for us because there's been a lot of changes with people wanting to work remotely and having to work remotely. So we kind of got in at the right time with this IP-based video stuff and NDI, and we've been hoping to build out some really interesting workflows for people.
And you're a Melbourne-based company?
Yes, we're based out of Melbourne. We born and bred here, and yes, all our engineering, all of our sales activities are all done from here. We've got an office in the US and also one in the UK as well, but head office is right here in Collingwood.
Yeah, beautiful. I became aware of NDI, I think, for a bit of a story about that, was through the TriCaster. And that was something now I think I got introduced to the term itself, and I wasn't really fully aware of how it worked. But then John introduced me to the NDI plugin for Premiere Pro. Actually, he came around to my office at the time and showed me that plugin and how it worked. And he broadcast out to, I think it was OBS. And then he showed me the live key and how you could play something out of Premiere Pro through OBS and actually key it at the same time. So you could pre-prepare little video snippets and things like that. And kind of exploded my head a little bit. And then I became aware of BirdDog. Obviously, I'd been a follower of Blonde Robot and the stuff that you were bringing out and distributing, and I didn't know that was related to the company. But I think we're going to have a chat about some of the products tonight, which really blew my hair back, and I'm looking forward to talking about them.
Yeah,
sounds good.
For me, I think the over-the-shoulder thing is probably something a lot of people many people probably don't really know what it is as a term so much. I mean, you're used to having someone over your shoulder as far as a producer or director goes, sort of looking at your timeline and then just saying, just one more frame, just one frame.
More.
Like, no, go back. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of that kind of thing being remote. I've spoken to a few filmmakers, and the thing that they felt they needed, given all of this remote stuff going on, that they didn't know about, was the whole over-the-shoulder thing. And they've tried using other platforms like Zoom or Teams or whatever. There's all these other different Skype and stuff like that, and the quality is just not very good. And when you showed us in a pre-meeting for this what your stuff looked like, it blew my mind. So I'm hoping we can show that a little bit later on.
It did. How fresh is that technology, the over-the-shoulder technology?
Look, the over-the-shoulder stuff is actually really pretty fresh. It's something we've been working on. We launched this platform that kind of hosts it, which I'll get into in a bit. We launched that in September last year, but really for this over-the-shoulder editing, it's only the last couple of months that we've brought that together. It's a really new concept, and the quality thing is what you picked up on, John, is really the key to this. Quality and latency, which is a delay kind of thing. When you're in an edit, you want to be able to have that kind of conversation where you go back, forward a little bit. What if we trim this and what if we do that? You can't have too much of a delay. You can't have bad quality if you want to have that happen. And so that's what we're really the two fundamentals we had to get right to get this over-the-shoulder thing working. So I'll show you how it works soon. But yeah, it's a really exciting technology.
Cool. All right. Should we have a look at the video?
Yeah.
My wonderful video.
Do it.
Yeah. So Dan, you were just a little out of sync there. I think somehow the internet just decided to be a little bit struggly poos, but that's all right. I think you're back in sync. Just give us a 1, 2, 3 click or something. I don't know.
1, 2, 3 and a clap.
Yeah, perfect. Now we can get the clapper loader to do its job.
Get the slate out. Do it.
That's right. Get the slate out. Okay, here we go. We're going to watch the video. Roll the tape.
Introducing BirdDog NDI editorial workflows. NDI is a technology that allows you to send audio and video over a regular computer network. You're able to view instantly anywhere on your network the output of your timeline from Adobe Premiere or After Effects. To enable NDI output, simply go to your Preferences and Playback section within the Premiere or After Effects and enable the NDI plugin. Now that you have NDI output from your timeline, you can select an NDI hardware decoder. BirdDog have a number of families of decoders ranging from low cost through to 4K UHD decoders like the 4K Pro family. This can be plugged in anywhere on your computer network and allows you to monitor in real time from your Premiere or After Effects timeline. To extend your viewing further, you can utilize BirdDog Cloud. This allows you to take your NDI output from your Premiere Pro or After Effects and access it anywhere in the world over the internet on any connected device, be that Android, Windows or Mac. BirdDog Cloud is a native web application that requires no installation of third-party applications on your device. In addition to viewing your output of your timeline, you can also mix and match layouts within BirdDog Cloud, so you can monitor both the timeline and also the video output at the same time, and interactively change this. So as an editor, you can see what's happening with the stack up, as well as seeing the final video output by instantly switching between video sources. This gives you full visibility and context over every aspect of your edit. BirdDog Cloud offers you the most flexible, remote workflows for your next production using After Effects or Adobe Premiere.
To be fair, I did say that I sold editing systems. I wasn't an editor, so I apologise for the edit quality there, but hopefully it got some of the point across.
Yeah, that was great.
Was
that
fun.
decoder, the possibilities are endless.
Absolutely.
So I want to kind of talk a little bit about the whole HDMI, SDI output thingy. The way that the NDI thing works, what's the quality like?
Yeah, cool. So basically, the way NDI works in a concept of within Premiere or within After Effects is you have the plugin you can install on your machine, and that gives you a live output from your timeline. That's full resolution without any latency, without any delay. It takes that timeline straight out, and it is the full quality that you're seeing straight out of your timeline. It can scale up to whatever resolution you like. So if you're editing in 4K, 60 frames a second, no problems at all. What that does, though, instead of having your typical I/O card, whether it's a Blackmagic, an AJA, or whatever I/O card you use, you can use NDI instead and take that output from your computer and access it anywhere else on your network. And that's where you plug in one of our decoder boxes, and that can plug into your TV screen if you're in a client screening room. It can plug into a broadcast monitor if you wanted to have that somewhere else for quality checking as well. But it basically means that your edit suite or all of your edit suites in your facility can be accessed anywhere on your network. So you can just monitor it wherever you like.
So I'll give a quick live example of that. So we set up our studio back at home, and my wife is our producer. And so we have a fully wired home network, which is plugged into the internet. We have Wi-Fi also, but most of it's wired. I use NDI so that I can send a picture from my edit suite via the network so that she can actually preview what I'm working on in her office, which is one of the other rooms in the house. And she can actually, so then without having to move around, just monitor off my After Effects timeline or my Premiere timeline, and she can make decisions and either Slack me or just yell at me from the other room, which is mostly the case. And we have a great discussion, and we don't have to be moving around. She doesn't have to come out and sit down. She's quite pregnant at the moment, so it's nice that she can just stay there and watch what I'm working on without too much fuss. And that plugs straight into Premiere, and there's not a lot of fiddling we have to do. And I think I use the NDI Monitor app. Is that on the other end of the computer? It's not 100% sure what the app's called. I just downloaded what you guys recommended to download for playback off the network, and then you just select the input device, which would be either After Effects or Premiere, depending on what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. And so,
sorry, you go, Dan.
Hey, no problems. The cool thing with NDI is it's a technology that's supported by so many different things. So yeah, we make our hardware boxes that can give you your video output straight out to your TV screen or whatever. Software, there's the free tools that you mentioned, which are available at the ndi.tv website. And that allows you to monitor any NDI source on your computer screen. So that can be on a Mac, on a Windows machine. There's even iPad video monitors and things as well.
We do that with the iPad often too. Yeah, we'll go to the iPad. I mean, I don't have a decoder box, but believe me, I would have one sitting behind the television here or in any of the other rooms. If I was to set up, say, just a remote viewing room, even with the box itself, just plug that straight into the network, and then you could have a nice full resolution 4K picture off your timeline in another room and socially isolate from your producer.
Exactly. And the thing with that is if you're a small outfit where you've got a couple of edit suites or even one, you can have that social distancing. But if you're a larger facility, you can switch between different edit suites really easily. So if you've got a client screening room, you can easily just choose whatever input you want. So if you've got a half a dozen edit suites, you can just bring up whichever one you wanted to look at that time.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's pretty cool to patch in different screen shares.
And that's with the one cable, really. You're not running, if you've it's 6 edit suites in your facility that have AJIO cards and they're outputting to SDI, and you're not running 6 SDI feeds into your viewing room. It's basically just one network cable, and you're flipping
network cable and away you go.
Yep, that's it. That's what I love about it.
So there's a question here about Wi-Fi. Does it work through Wi-Fi at all?
Good question.
Yeah, look, at NDI, it's designed it's all about quality and this latency thing. So it's about being really quick. So it should feel exactly like you've got an IO card on your edit suite. So it's really low latency and the quality is really high. But there is a trade-off in that the bandwidth is higher than what you typically get out of a Wi-Fi network. It's not to say it won't work. NDI will travel over whatever network you give it. But typically we recommend using wired Ethernet just because that will give you the speed that you need. If you've got a particularly good wireless network, you may have some good luck with that. The trouble with Wi-Fi is that if it works today and it's really fast, tomorrow when you've got half a dozen people using it for other reasons, it might not be quite as fast. So it's just your mileage may vary, but it could work.
And like I said, I do use the iPad occasionally, but that's more for just sort of if you're sitting on the couch and monitoring something or whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah, and that latency thing, I think, is probably the key thing that makes this so good, is that when you hit and play, it's like playing straight away. I don't know what the millisecond lag is, if there's much at all, but it's so impressive. There's another question here to do with costs. So someone's asking about what kind of costs you're looking at for this sort of thing. I guess we'll start with the lower end and just work up into different ballpark figures for different scenarios.
Yeah, look, I mean, the lowest costing with NDI in this editorial workflow is you can use a free plugin that enables your Premiere or your After Effects to output NDI. And then there's free monitor tools. So you can run that on another machine on your network and you can view that. So that's literally no cost. From there, where BirdDog comes in is we make the hardware devices. So I've got a couple of different devices here. I don't know whether you can see it there, but that's one of our converter boxes. I've got another one here as well. And we've got different ones depending on whether you're wanting to run HD or 4K, and whether you want SDI or HDMI. So there's a whole range. In US dollars, they start at $399 for the converters. And that allows you to take any of these sources right up to 4K. And convert that back out to HDMI somewhere else. The benefit of going for one of our hardware boxes is it will give you a true video output. So whilst you can look at it on a computer screen and it will show you what it is, if you're wanting to see what that final output looks like on a TV screen, using one of our hardware decoders gives you that. So essentially you can start from free with NDI. You can move up to our encoder and decoder boxes that start at $399. And then we go right up to our Pro range, which gives you 12G SDI as well as a whole bunch of IOs, and they come in at about $1,000. So it's in and about the same price as a capture card in a lot of ways, depending on which level you want to go with.
Yep.
And I was sorry, mate. I was just going to jump in and say the with the 12G, is there planned upgrades for say going above 4K, or are you going to sort of leave it there, or? Because 12G apparently is rated right up to, well, other companies will tell you a lot higher resolutions. Is there plans to push that further?
Well, yeah, I guess 12G SDI is, if you're using uncompressed video at 4K 60 frames a second, it takes around about 12 gig of data per second, or 12G. So 12G is limited to that. NDI by itself, though, is not limited to any resolution or any frame rate. If you wanted to do 16K, go for it. There's no limitation with NDI. We do have some of our boxes have got 4 12G connections. So if you've got 4 different outputs you want to do at the same time, we can actually take 4 4K 60 frames or sources and output them to 4 separate outputs. So technically, you could say our devices are actually working at 8K 60 in the fact that we've got 4 separate outputs going at 12G. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Over the shoulder stuff, I think we should get on.
Over the shoulder stuff. So tell us a little bit more about the cloud thing, how that works. I guess if people are interested in pricing, give us a bit of a sense of ballpark on that one as well. But show us what it is first, and then talk about the pricing a bit afterwards.
Yeah, cool. So I'll maybe have a bit of a chat about it, and then if you want to, I can share my screen and actually show it working. If that makes sense.
We can push the limits here and see if we can do a screen share. Sure.
Let's give it a go. But essentially, our over-the-shoulder edit system is designed using our BirdDog Cloud platform. So cloud's used in a whole bunch of different ways. What our platform does is it takes any NDI source. So that could be, in this case, your edit suite, whether it's Premiere or After Effects. It could also be a live camera if you wanted to. And it converts that and allows you to see that somewhere else in the world. And that's using our cloud platform. So it takes that NDI source and compresses it, moves it into the internet streamable formats, and allows you to view that. You can view it on any device. So it could be an Android tablet, it could be an iPad, a Windows or a Mac machine. You just throw whatever machine you like at it. On the receiving side, there's no need to have any software installed at all. You just need a browser. You point a web browser at it, and it's going to work with it straight away. Some extra things that we have within our over-the-shoulder edit that really make it pretty special is the ability to have different layouts. So you can switch between looking at the timeline and then looking at the output. You can then do a side-by-side if you wanted to as well. So you can see both the timeline and the output at the same time. This is really cool if you're an editor to be able to see in context while you're looking at the frames going along. You can actually see what's coming up next by looking at the timeline. And it makes it much more interactive. Then from there, the other cool thing that we can do is because we're using a device, every computer, every tablet's got a camera, we can take that camera and send your video back to the editor. So it becomes like a video conferencing call, but it's designed around editing. So you can view the output, you can see what's happening, and then you can talk back to the editor and say, hang on, hold up, back a frame, forward a frame, all that kind of stuff that editors want to hear from their producers. And that's all done, again, like I said, without installing any software. You just need to have a device that's got access to the internet. And like I said, it could be a tablet, could be whatever you like, and anywhere in the world. So it's a pretty unique platform. It's been really designed and tuned around this low latency thing. And John, you were mentioning about the millisecond stuff. Essentially, we can, depending on the speed of your network, we can be within 1 frame of live. So if you're working at 60 frames a second, that's a 60th of a second that it takes to get from one end to the other. So it is truly real time, and it works really well.
That's crazy. I love it.
Yes.
We had a demo, you demoed this to us just the other day when we were having a chat, and it is next level. I have not experienced something like that before, and the possibilities again. Just open your mind up to like, oh, okay, well, we could do that. And then you were mentioning something that if you have your BirdDog PTZ cameras plugged in, you can actually control them with the web interface too. So you could have almost like a conference call, but if there's multiple people in the room, I could be positioning the camera to look at people talking, or you've got a viewing room where it's like a theaterette and there's multiple people. Somebody could be controlling that camera and pointing it at the person who's talking, which is again, just one of those things that's like, you've come up with something that's like brilliant.
Well, even remote production now as well, like just having these remote operations of not having to have a camera person out in the field and have a BirdDog camera out there. So you got that PTZ, that pan, tilt, zoom functionality. I don't know. I'm thinking there's going to be more of this stuff going on, but how about we'll try and set up this screen share. Now, the way that we have to do it, I have to put the camera on me, and then while you, Dan, go in and start to set up your screen share, I can clear some of the gobbledygook that comes up on screen, because I have to do these things to sort of focus the screen. Now, let's see here. What do we got? All right, let's have a look. I'm hoping I go to remote screen, it's going to work. Hey, it works.
I can see you. Yep.
Woo-hoo.
Nice. All right, so you can see me? You can see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent. So what I'm going to do is just work through a couple of things just on here, and hopefully it'll explain a little bit more how it works and how easy it is. But if you've got any questions, either people that are watching or also you guys on the on our show, just tell me to stop any time. But essentially what you need to do is just enable NDI as an output, and I'll zoom in just 1 second. If I go to my playback settings and zoom in.
You took longer than 1 second to zoom.
I'm very sorry.
Just
you
saying.
Can see. Tough crowd. You can see here when we go into our Adobe settings, you've got playback, and by enabling this NDI output, and then we might want to choose NDI for your audio as well.
Now, this is the thing. People get stuck on this bit, actually. Can you just drill in a little on that? Because some people do the audio device, and they kind of get that bit a bit wrong.
Yeah. So with all your Adobe software, you've obviously got choices for IOs for your audio and also for your video. And typically you'd go into your audio hardware settings up here and you'd change what you're doing for choosing what speakers you're running and what microphones you got plugged in. When you're running with NDI, you want to go to the playback section. And by default, when you choose NDI output, it doesn't actually drop down this audio device to output NDI. And that's probably one of the catches that you find where people are like, I can see the pictures, but I can't see the sound, or maybe it's the other way around. So by enabling NDI output on the video device, you still need to make sure that you set up the audio as well.
And I had trouble with that my first outing, but yes.
Yep.
Mate, you didn't have to admit that, but yes, you did.
Yes, but it is one of those things you just got to make sure you set that as well. Otherwise, it's like, I'm not getting any sound.
Right, because the feeds the feeds come through separate, and that's under playback, which is part of transmit. So if you use the transmit function, then you got to make sure you got both A and
obviously
V going through.
Obviously that list that we're looking there too would be populated with other things if you've got a HD TV or a TV connected or another monitor.
The screens.
Yeah, so.
Cool.
Yeah, so basically this computer here has got no IOs, and that's kind of the way we like it here because we can use our own virtual ones with NDI. But if you had something else there, it would pop up. But the important thing is just to have this NDI plugin installed. You can download that from the NDI website. It's a free plugin. It works really well. So it's just a simple install and away you go. It works on Mac as well as on Windows, so it's completely cross-platform.
We love that.
So basically you've got that set up. I'm just going to zoom back out again here with my wonderful Windows hotkeys. I'll get rid of that. So now that I've got my NDI enabled on the output, what I can do now is...
was that you, John? Are you okay?
It was. No, it's my gong.
Okay.
Am I talking too long? That's it.
Well,
no.
Your
yes.
gong.
I mean, yes.
Who are you, Red Simons?
Sorry, continue.
No worries. So basically we've got our timeline here, and we're still, everything just looks like normal, but what we're doing is out of our network connection, we're actually outputting this NDI. So every time we scrub along, those frames are being updated. So if you plug in on the other side of that, you can plug in one of our devices. So in here, I've got a picture of one of our 4K devices, but we've got a bunch of different decoders that you can find on our website. And these will take that NDI and convert that back out into HDMI. So that's pretty neat. So to have a look at that in kind of a real world sense, you can see here I've got my timeline, and you can see my Sony monitor there is playing. So this is what we were talking about before with a local based viewing. So this is reviewing your timeline that you're editing within the building. So as I play, you can see that's coming out on the Sony screen. So that's pretty cool because it kind of virtualizes, extends out your IO card. But probably the coolest thing is this over the shoulder editing going through the cloud. So in order to do that, what we want to do is, instead of having that Sony monitor that we've got here, wouldn't it be better if we had something like an iPad?
What the hell? Wait, is this... Sorry, I have to interrupt here. Is that screen... Is this... Hang on. Hold on. Wait. So you've got a picture of a screen that's a screen, and then you've got the UI filling in the computer screen that's the screen, but that's actually two live feeds.
Yep. So as I'm scrubbing along the timeline here,
scrub along. I don't believe you.
And I'm waving.
Oh my god.
You can see my little... If I press the right play button, it'll play there. So so the world's almost turning inside out because I've got screens within screens. But basically what this is showing is that we can have our timeline here, and then you can monitor that on an iPad. And as we all know, you can take your iPad wherever you like. And this is truly able to be viewed anywhere using this BirdDog Cloud platform, using the over-the-shoulder edits. So you can see here from a latency point of view, it's basically exactly the same. You're not seeing any difference in delay. if you're in the same building, that's the case. You could sit there with your iPad and it would be as if you're looking at the program monitor out of your edit suite.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really neat, and you can work away. What you might notice is on the bottom right-hand side of the computer screen, you can see me in a little corner there waving at you. What that is if you've got an iPad and I'm looking at the output of the edit suite, my webcam can go back to the editor. And so as an editor, you're seeing here and you're scrubbing along and they're, whoa, hang on, stop. Then you can stop and you can jog forwards and backwards and you can hear what the person at the other end is saying. So as a producer, you can be sitting wherever you are, on the beach, hopefully, watching the edit, and they can see you back and check how many cocktails you've had and away you go. But it becomes this truly, it's basically video conferencing, but it's made for editors. So it's real time. We actually did some tests a couple of weeks back, and it was faster than doing a FaceTime call from a delay point of view. So it's trually as fast as if you're doing a video call.
It is faster than doing just a standard pick any of the video conferencing platforms. It's faster. I couldn't believe it.
Yep.
And do you have the web I/O there that you can show us?
Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I've just got to remember my layouts here. I'm just going to change over to a slightly different view here, and bring up my web I/O. So this is on the computer screen here. You can see there's a bunch of controls. And then what I'm going to do is change the output. So in this case, if I click on the big green button in the middle, you'll see my laptop, which again could be the iPad that I had before. This is the remote side of things where you're viewing it as a producer. That's changed. So if I change around, I can put another source. So this is my camera here, or my computer screen. And this is the important bit, is you've got a computer screen there. So that's your edit timeline that you can send across so someone can see that. Another thing that's really neat is you can do a side-by-side. So if I just zoom in here a little, you'll see here what we've actually got is on the left-hand side, I've got my timeline. And on the right-hand side, I've got the output. So when you're watching an edit, actually seeing things come together as a cut, you can say, hang on a second, back up a little bit, or you can see when a build's coming up and you can prepare yourself to watch for whatever's coming along. And you can see that in with both of them side by side.
And I've got a crazy idea. Can you supply the link to that feed, and then whoever's on here live right now can go and use that link to check out the feed?
I tell you what, I can, but I need to set it up again, because at the moment, and this is actually a really good point, is I've got it in the secure mode, which is a point-to-point. So it's a one-to-one.
It's a one-to-one, yeah.
And that's good for a lot of people because obviously they don't want to have that, so everyone can jump in on it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But the option is there, which is amazing, because usually stuff is always secured and it's always either point-to-point or restricted access. You can actually have the option to go public with it, and therefore, you could have a crew of people tuning in or just a group of people, which I think is also pretty amazing.
Yeah, totally. So if you want to, I can walk through the back end and show you how I can connect up.
We do have a question here while you're doing that, which I thought was quite interesting. Was that can you run the NDI signal out of a character animator? And I, as far as I know, that's 100% true. So you could do live performance with your character animator software, and do facial capture and have your character talking. So you could do a live performance of anything over the network and send that to, because of course you can send an NDI signal to OBS. So you could really use your character animator for a live performance tool to do a live stream in character if you wanted to be Cartman from South Park, for example.
You can do whatever you like. It basically, as long as you've got an output, whether it's a computer output or whether it's a video output, we can take that and present that however you like. So
and with with one of those BirdDog decoders, for instance, you could have a performer in a room performing to character animator with a custom character, send that across the network with the BirdDog device, then decode it into an SDI feed that into your TriCaster or whatever device you're using for your live program, and actually incorporate a virtual character into your program, which is, I think, remarkably cool.
Yeah, you totally could do that. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, my mind's blown.
There's just so many options for this. What I'm actually doing here, I thought I might as well show you rather than just going and doing it. Is you can see here when I've got this set up, we're actually using the power of a thing called WebRTC to do a lot of the transmit over the internet. And I can change it at the moment. You saw I've got this one-to-one.
One-to-one, yeah.
and then I can change that over to broadcast. And then down here, you can have these different layouts. And at the moment, it's a little bit small, but you can see here that I can probably zoom in a little bit while I'm here. You can see you've got different layouts where you want to have a 50-50 or a 33-66, however you want to do that with that split screen view that we had, how we had the edit suite on one side and the program monitor out. So there's a bunch of different settings in here, and that's probably for another day to walk through how it all works. But
yeah.
I'm just going to
how many sources maximum can you throw into this?
You can have as many as your computer will allow. So basically, it's all about processing. At the moment, I'm running, this is a pretty powerful machine, and you can see it's running at about half my processor capacity. But I'm doing all of this fancy switching and everything with all these virtual sets where I'm moving in and out of all of my sources. So I'm doing a whole lot more than what you'd normally do. And in this case, I've got four sources running. But we could easily, if you had a machine like this, it could easily handle 8 different sources to switch between without any problems at all.
Right.
I do like my condiments.
Very good.
I had to go down
I'm
there.
just going to quickly.
Thanks, mate.
You're welcome. Bad dad jokes galore.
So if I am right, we should be back on, and it looks like I am. So now I'm just going to log into another web tab here and just make sure that we're streaming live. And if we are, then I'm happy to share it. It's cloud2.birddog.tv. So this, we zoom in.
So you can see. Get ready.
Cloud2.
Zoom in a bit closer.
Even closer? All right.
Yeah.
There we go.
Closer. There we go. cloud.bird-dog.tv/webrtc/pin. By the way, the slashes are forward slashes, not backslashes.
All
Sick.
right. So if any,
I'm going to do this as well.
I'm going to load it up as well. This is mental.
PIN number is 9111.
9111.
Now, because everyone knows my PIN number. If anyone finds my wallet,
well, we'll be going to the pub, which isn't open.
Yes.
All right. Now I didn't pay attention to what I read out there, so it's Cloud2.
Yep.
And I'm in.
Cloud2.bird-dog.
Bird-dog.tv.
Yeah.
/web.
/web.
Web RTC.
/something.
Don't worry about it. Just do the .tv. It'll get there. You can just go to the WebRTC up the top and type in your PIN.
Yeah. So I'm now currently looking at it. I've pressed the play button, so it's available and the action is going.
Yeah, cool. So now if I move around, I'm just going to close this. So if I scrub along, you should now see that.
Oh my God, it is 1-to-1.
Okay, this is mental. All right, I'm going to switch to my screen. Hang on, I'm going to go with Pip here. So the web. Okay, so what I did, I went to the thing and then I pressed on WebRTC streams because I didn't get the whole full slash thing. 9111, right?
Yep.
Okay. Let's see if I blow up the internet with my not NBN. Here we go. What's happening?
And so you're just sending out your screen, aren't you, mate? Yeah, you got to hit play, buddy.
It's just a still screen at the moment. I'm actually just going to change over to my
screen.
My control so we can do a side by side because I reckon that's a pretty neat little
do that.
Yep. Oh my God, you just said wait. You just said side by side and then it changed side by side right in front of me.
I'm seeing it 1-to-1 here. This is
mental.
This is ridiculous. So good.
So then I can play and then you say, hey, stop. I stop. Go backwards and forwards. And so in this case, we've got at least you two, if not there's more, people connected at the same time.
Yeah.
And you can have a whole group session where people can see exactly what's going on.
Can you put it on just the screen of just the computer UI? Just tell us when you click it, right?
Okay. So I'm going to go.
You just clicked it without telling us.
All right. I
want to see how fast it is.
Now.
What?
Now.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. So it means that you can literally be anywhere. I mean, obviously we're in Melbourne, but it's all over the internet. And once you're there, you're really just at the speed of whatever the network is. So it's super fast. So it's really interactive in the way that it works.
I
Okay.
am well impressed with this. Really, every
Just-
time I've seen it, this is the second time you've shown me this, and every time I'm just like, whew, how do you do that?
Just so everyone at home has got some context, right? I'm streaming up my feed to these guys, then I'm going up to YouTube and to Facebook, and I'm coming down through both of those because I'm monitoring those, and I'm getting this feed coming down as well, and I'm hooked into a second remote laptop that's now got this feed. And when you say you click and it changes, it does it at the same time you say it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's insane. So it's if I'm changing, I'm changing.
Yeah.
Why?
That's just
How?
next level.
How?
Through the magic of BirdDog
I've got
Cloud.
to see. I want to see. Hang on. We're going to wrap this up. It's 8 o'clock, but
Jude has said, oh, Inception, and I'm like, absolutely. It's kind of like a screen. It's a screen within a screen within a screen, really. There was a worthwhile question I just wanted to cover before we go as well, John. There's a couple in there that we need to go over.
All right. Well, we can stop the screen share, and my mind is blown up.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That
Melbourne
is
company,
so
people.
cool.
Melbourne company.
So cool. All right, I'm going to get you guys back up on screen in a sec. Oh, we've lost our guest. He's dropped off.
Hmm?
Oh, here he comes.
Here he comes. The question
I was
he
done.
is.
I was just drop the mic.
He dropped the mic. Is it drop the mic?
Don't
moment?
need that anymore.
Okay, there we go. We're back.
Hello.
Dan,
the question
that's
that I wanted to
insane.
the question I wanted to jump in was about audio, because the people, this is the question that everyone seems to worry about, which is won't selecting the NDI in the audio device affect local playback also? And the answer is no, it won't, because it doesn't supersede your local playback device, whether it's a Focusrite or whatever audio card you've got. It's just selecting where the output signal of that audio is going. So I think people, I was confused about that as well when I first used it. I'm like, hang on, it's just going to send it out over NDI. I'm not going to hear it. That's not going to work for me. So no, the answer is it absolutely doesn't affect local playback.
Absolutely not. It'll work with all your local hardware. Everything's fine. This is just taking another split out and then sending it wherever you want to send it.
Yeah. So and that's an important one to cover, because I know people get hung up on that. But we've just seen something remarkable there, which is just that over-the-shoulder edit capacity. And with that switching, the speed of that switching is just, it's just something else, because I haven't seen that before. And I'm being being a person that uses Zoom, I've sort of retrofitted Zoom to make it work, where I send a signal of my screen to the person at the other end, but then I have to dial in with my phone so that they have audio from both the vision that I'm playing off my timeline, which is just a full screen of my program monitor, and then my phone is the voice, so that they can simultaneously hear the program and hear me talking to them and communicating what we're talking about. That there has just made my life a whole lot easier and quicker and in sync.
So
Excellent.
Ballpark price, and then we'll wrap it up. Holy moly.
Yeah.
Hey, cool. So BirdDog Cloud, it's a as a service platform. So basically, you need to have a piece of software installed somewhere on your network where your edit suite is. It doesn't need to be on the same machine, because NDI can access any of your NDI sources from wherever they are on the network. So basically, you have this endpoint, we call it, for BirdDog Cloud, and that runs in at about $150 a month, and that's unlimited amount of usage from there. So basically, you can set up as many. If you've got a really powerful computer and you want to have half a dozen different review sessions, you can do that if your computer can keep up with it. But there's also an annual subscription as well, which is $9.95, and that gives you 12 months worth, so it works out to be a little cheaper. There is one extra little detail, which is around how we get this video across the internet to go to multiple people with this WebRTC thing, or the broadcast. There is a service called Xersys, which we can send through any details if anyone wants it. You need to sign up for, which is really just a method of how we can connect from one place to another. It's basically like a traffic cop that tells you from this location to go somewhere else. It's a 2-minute thing to set up, and we've got full documentation on it, but that allows us to get the video so fast and to be able to go out to so many people.
Cool.
Well, if people are interested in the remote workflow over the shoulder stuff, then I would highly recommend them jumping onto the website and having a look at that, because that is next level.
Yeah, So your website for the fans at home and those that are watching this back later
is bird-dog.tv.
Right, bird-dog.tv. Cool, awesome. This has been
Get onto
grouse.
it.
I've been drinking
This
a
has been
beer
great.
in a Scotch glass for the last 40 odd minutes. Dan,
I've been
I
on
know you've got
jasmine tea this week.
jasmine tea.
I've been talking too much, so I've only got just the
Yeah,
neck
you've
out
only
of my
got beer,
beer.
but
Oh,
that's all
well,
right.
you've got to finish that beer. All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on
mate.
our
Really
10th
appreciate that.
episode. Dan, this has been amazing. A lot of people here mentioning how mind blown they are over this. And I'm sure we'll see some more viewers have some commentary on the replay. So we'll say good
Anyone
night.
got any questions? Feel free to reach out on the website or on social. We're all here to help.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Righto. Well, I'm going to say sayonara. Good night. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
guys.
Thanks,
for joining
Jimmy.
us, everybody. Thank you, John. We'll see you next week.
No worries. Catch you later.
See ya.